Hey everybody, welcome back to the Rock and Metal Guardian. I'm Dane, your host. Hope you're doing great wherever you may find yourselves. Blessings to all of you wonderful people out there. Today I'm taking another discography and going to talk about the best and worst song on each album. Today's band of choice is Black Sabbath. There is one caveat, however, and that is I'm not going to talk about the Heaven and Hell Band album, The Devil You Know. Of course, if you're a Black Sabbath fan, you know that at the time, late in the band's career, both the Ozzy version and the Dio version were going on at the same time or thereabouts. And so the Dio version of the band had to change their name to Heaven and Hell from the first, going back to the first album with Dio on vocals. But there's nothing on that album, The Devil You Know, that I like much, if at all. Everything seems to lack grit, lacks resonance. It sounds like they're just going through the motions to put out an album, that kind of thing. Again, just my opinion, so I'm not including it here, but everything else in the discography is here from the debut through and including Forbidden. And keep in mind that when it comes to doing a video like this or a series, more often than not, when we say worst, it's figurative because there are albums in this collection with no stinker songs, so it's just least favorite. So that's what it means. Worst in many cases means just least favorite, not to be interpreted literally. So if we talk about the debut, great album from start to finish. My favorite track on here is track 3, which is essentially a suite, 4 songs in one track. You get Wasp, Behind the Wall of Sleep, basically /NIB. My favorite part of this suite, of course, is the conclusion, Nativity in Black, or NIB, but I'll have it all here. The least favorite part for me would be basically, but Wasp and Behind the Wall of Sleep is just ear candy, and just some amazing bass guitar and drums. And when Ozzy sings in this suite, it's just stellar. My least favorite song, or the worst song on this album, it's a good song, not a great song, is Wicked World. It's not lackluster, but compared to what else is on here, it's not on equal footing with respect to how greatness goes, because everything on here is great with the exception of that song. It's a good or very good song, not a great song. All right, next comes the sophomore effort, where I came in, 8 tracks, and my favorite song on here is Fairies Wear Boots. Heavy. In many ways, Ozzy has never sounded better. There are other times where I think he sounds the best when he's angry, like Symptom of the Universe and The Writ especially. But he is in, I think, top-notch form here as well. On the whole album, really. There's that angst, there's that resonance in his voice, there's that changing in the inflections of how he says things, the cadences and the phrasing is just dynamite from start to finish here. But Fairies Wear Boots, for me, runs the gamut of Ozzy, doing his best. And there's a lot of that. There's a lot of Ozzy doing his best. But here, on this album, it stands out the most for me. Everything on here is great. But that's my favorite song here. It's the best song. My least favorite, or the worst song on here, would be, I consider Rat Salad an intro to Fairies Wear Boots, so that's really one song, but as Sabbaths want to do. But I think my least favorite song on here is Planet Caravan, and it's the worst song on here, but I love Planet Caravan. It's a stellar song, but it's the worst of the 8 songs here. So Paranoid. Next, Master of Reality. Nothing stinky about this album. All the songs on here are great. My favorite, Driven to the Grave. Love that intro. It's so haunting. It's so heavy. It's just so powerful. I'm going to say Sweet Leaf is my least favorite song on here. I like Solitude as slow as Solitude is, and, calm and just driven in a quiet way. I like it more than Sweet Leaf for whatever reason. Sweet Leaf's a great song, but yeah, I like Solitude more. Yeah, Sweet Leaf is my least favorite song on here, despite the fact that it's a great song. So here you go. Maybe it has something to do with the subject matter. Who knows? Coming in next is Volume 4. Favorite song on here, No, don't have to think about this one at all. It's always and will always be Snowblind. It's one of Sabbath's heaviest songs. It's one of Sabbath's best songs of all time. The intro is so doomy. This is the first arguably doom metal album of all time. This picks up where the third album left off, and Snowblind is the doomiest song on here. It would go perfectly on this album. And the song I don't like on here, it's laughable, is FX. That's just some tinkering from Tony's guitar to introduce Supernaut, which is amazing. But yeah, I think you just should have made it the intro to Supernaut and made it one track. If I had to pick a song that's not an intro to be the worst song, then it would be Laguna Sunrise. It's just, I don't know, there's just something about it. It's a toss-up between Laguna Sunrise and St. Vitus's Dance. Those two, there's some element missing, and I can't put my finger on what that is. But we'll go with FX for now. Next, Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. Great album. Favorite songs of title track. It's the heaviest song on the album. There's a lot of different flavors and tastes and wheels within wheels with respect to what the band is doing here. Spiral Architect it's my second favorite, has, some moody blues qualities to it, that uplifting symphonic bits, right, with strings. I love it. But Sabbath Bloody Sabbath, the opening riff is nonpareil. It's just amazing. My least favorite song here is Sabracadabra. This is a wonderfully produced album, and yet there's something about the production of this song. The guitar and everything here is a bit low in the mix. Anyway, but yeah, it's a good song, not a great song. So nothing. There's no snooze fests on this album. But Sabracadabra is my least favorite. Sabbath Bloody Sabbath, great album. Next is Sabotage. I'm going to go with Superstar. For the longest time, I thought it was Superstars, but having dyslexia, that makes sense why. Anyway, Superstar. It's okay. It's not great. It's in many ways a cover tune taking from the Yardbirds, that choir-like stuff. Forget the name of that Yardbird song. It's okay. But it really, I don't think it goes with anything else on this album. But there you have it, Superstar. My least favorite. I'd say it's an average song. It's not a good song for me. It's just average. But everything else on there, I just love. All right, so that was Sabotage. I didn't mention my favorite. It's Symptom of the Universe. I don't believe. Sorry about that. Yes, Symptom of the Universe is so heavy. If you think Hole in the Sky is heavy to open an album, Symptom of the Universe is even heavier. There are often days where I begin the album with this in a playlist and start with Symptom of the Universe and then go from there with the rest of the track listing intact. But yeah, Symptom of the Universe, definitely my favorite. One of Sabbath's heaviest. Very much like Sabbath Bloody Sabbath, where the heaviest song on the album is somewhere in the top 3 or 4. That doesn't always work, but in many cases it does. All right, let's see. Next is Technical Ecstasy. My least favorite is She's Gone. Very lackluster, doesn't do anything for me. I usually skip it when I play the album, but the song I just love to death is Backstreet Kids. I think this is of this album that's been described as disappointing and panned by many fans and critics alike. I do think this is a good album, but it pales in comparison to the 6 albums that came before it. Backstreet Kids is the closest thing on this album that sounds like anything that would go with the first 6 albums in this part of the discography. All right. Oops. Hit my mic here. All right. Next is Never Say Die. Don't have a copy of this either. My least favorite song is A Hard Road. I think it's an average song. The title's cliched. The lyrics are cliched. Difficult times, that kind of thing. Again, it's a good song, somewhere between average and good, I guess. Depends on my mood, I guess. But boy, do I love, my favorite song in here is Junior's Eyes. Ozzy, like much of what he does in the first 8 albums, is dynamite sounding here. He's resonant, he's aggressive, singing about, something that happened in his family, losing his dad at the time. He's junior, right? So we're told. And his voice is so heavy. It's full of that, because it's a personal, documentation of his life and dealing with pain and suffering, someone's passing. And phrasing is just dynamite from him. And the drums, oh my God, Bill Ward's drums. I have to air drum, and every time I play this, and then the bass opening and throughout the song, Geezer's bass is just fabulous. See those hairs standing on end? That's how much I love this song. What a great song. One of the underrated gems in the Black Sabbath catalog. All right, next is Heaven and Hell. Now we're into Dio waters here. The title track's my favorite. A close second would be Children of the Sea, the Light and Shade song. But yeah, Heaven and Hell is just amazing. When it gets heavier, when Dio sings, the moon is, oh gosh, life is just a carousel, all that, right? Something you got to ride it well. The world is full of kings and queens that blind your eyes and steal your dreams. It's Heaven and Hell. And then you get that wonderful guitar solo, and then the drums kick in. Something like that. It's just, again, goosebumps. See, all right. My least favorite song in here is Die Young. I'm not a big fan of Wishing Well and Walk Away, but of those three songs, Die Young is my least favorite. It's I say just an average song. Dio sings great on it, but it's not as bad as Rainbow Eyes on the third Rainbow album, but it's along the lines of the kind of almost a crooner song, but there is at least more of music from his bandmates, unlike the Paradise, unlike the Rainbow song, Rainbow Eyes. Anyway, so must own album, right? So again, title track is phenomenal, A+ all the way, and then Die Young, very lackluster. Next, The Mob Rules, the title track, counting E5I50 as an intro, which is just haunting and chilling and creepy at the same time, setting up what's to come when that amazing guitar comes in and Dio goes to town vocally, just great. And then my least favorite song is Slipping Away. It's kind of a lackluster song. It doesn't go much. It doesn't go anywhere, or it doesn't go much. It doesn't go anywhere, and if it does, it doesn't go very far, so to speak. It's kind of for me. All right, so Mob Rules. Next is Born Again, the one and done with Ian Gillan. Have to go with Trashed. It's the heaviest song on the album. Again, very much part and parcel with what Black Sabbath does, somewhere in the top 3. Many times, the opening song is the heaviest, like Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath. Trashed is the heaviest song here. It's my favorite. It's a sing-along. It's a biography piece dealing with the dangers of drinking, right, and driving. And I would say my least favorite song here is Born Again, the title track. It doesn't go anywhere, and if it doesn't go very far, like the song I mentioned on the previous album. It's very lackluster. It doesn't resonate for me. It doesn't have any kick or punch to me. It's just kind of going through the motions. But there it is. A good album, not a great album, but boy, Trashed is amazing. All right, wish there was more of that. Next, where I lost my place. Oh yeah, I don't own this album, Seventh Star, not an album I care for very much. But I have to say, well, I'll tell you this, the reason I don't care for this album very much is who thought that Black Sabbath would go the 80s route, right? And they do, head first. And I don't want my Black Sabbath to sound like an 80s metal band kind of thing. Not full-blown hair metal, but it's dangerously close to that. But despite the fact that you got that type of style here, I would say In for the Kill is the best of those type of songs here. And the song I just cannot stand on 7-Star of all the tracks here that are average or below average at best. In for the Kill being slightly above average. The worst song, definitely not a good song for me, is No Stranger to Love. Just sappy, saccharine. You can keep it. All right, moving on to The Eternal Idol. We go from Glenn Hughes on 7 Star. There's also the version with Ray Gillen. Kind of sounds the same as Glenn, a little bit, very close to that. That's what they were going for. Originally, 7 Star was supposed to be a solo record, but Eternal Idol, you get Tony on vocals, right? Tony Martin, and another album I don't care for much. I like the other stuff from Tony Martin much better. I like Headless Cross, Tear, and Cross Purposes much better. But the song that I really love on this album, on Eternal Idol, is Nightmare. This is the closest to the Sabbath I know and love in the Tony Martin era and in the Black Sabbath era overall. But the song I cannot stand. It's just a soft song. It's a Scarlet Pimpernel. Doesn't do anything for me. So un-Black Sabbath-like, if you ask me. All right, next is the Headless Cross. Thank God this is out in print again. I did a video on this. My favorite song is Black Moon. I'm convinced that when it comes to these two albums, the band turned to Tony and said, man, we want you to try to sound like Dio as best as you can. Does he sound exactly like Dio? No, but there's moments where I go, ooh, and there's these slight bits that catch my attention where the phrasing of Tony sounds a lot like Dio. Not exactly like, but very similar. So I think that, I can't prove it, but I think they said, hey man, do your best to sound like Dio. You got this, right? And so the one that sounds like Dio the most is Black Moon. I just love it. There's a lot to like here. The Gates of Hell, the title track, Devil and Daughter, When Death Calls is my second favorite. But the song I like the least is Call of the Wild, because it doesn't go anywhere. It's very lackluster for me. It's also very cliched, so it's a below average song for me. But I like love everything on here except for Call of the Wild. All right. Black Moon is phenomenal. All right. Yeah, I had a difficult choice between When Death Calls and Black Moon. All right. Headless Cross is done, so we go on to Tear. My favorite track is Anno Mundi / The Lawmaker. I get chills listening to the song every time. It's that good. Again, another Black Sabbath album where you get an intro and the opening song being the best part of the album. And then my least favorite, it's a good song, not a great song, is Feels Good to Me. I like the song quite a bit, but it's my least favorite song in here. There's nothing bad on this album at all. I love this album. All right. Next, Dehumanizer. We're back with Dio in the band. Computer God All the Way. There's some wonderful stuff here like I and Time Machine, both versions. After All, Letters from Earth, Master of Insanity. But the head of the pack here is Computer God. It's heavy. It's the heaviest song. It's the opening track, like Black Sabbath, like Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath. The opening is the heaviest song. See the theme here. It's okay. And then the riff from Tony is great. The guitar solo is wonderful. And Dio's voice is just amazing. The whole band is great here. Yeah. And my least favorite song is TV Crimes. Very lackluster, if you ask me. All right. Next, we get the album Cross Purposes. This album has grown on me in the last couple years. My favorite song is Psychophobia. I think this is the heaviest song on the album. It's the one with the most punch and resonance for me. I love it. Everything about the song is dynamite. And then the song that I don't like is The Hand That Rocks the Cradle. Very soft, very cliched from a vocal standpoint or lyric standpoint. And even the music sounds cliched, like I've heard this movie before kind of thing. It sounds like another band I know did this before, but I can't put my finger on what that band is. So Cross Purposes, Psychophobia, my favorite, and the worst song on the album, The Hand That Rocks the Cradle. Next, we get the album Forbidden, not an album I care for much, but of the song that resonates with me the most is the Just Shy of Wonderful, Can't Get Close Enough. There's a light and shade, kind of sounds like Dio a little bit here. And then the track I don't like, or the least favorite track, is The Illusion of Power. And it doesn't have to do with the fact that Ice-T's on here. Ice-T I don't mind here, but there's just, the music overall doesn't do much for me. It's okay, it's not great. I think it's the worst song on the album. Next, we get Ozzy back in the band with the album 13. And at first, I wanted to say that my favorite song was a tie between Damaged Soul and End of the Beginning. End of the Beginning is my second favorite. Damaged Soul is my third favorite. But Age of Reason is just stellar. It's the top-notch song on this album. The guitar solo is amazing. The problem that I have with this album overall, if you count all the version even with 12 tracks, is I find myself wanting to skip ahead to the guitar solos. The guitar solos are phenomenal. But overall, the guitar solo in Age of Reason is dynamite. It's the best guitar solo on the album. But overall, the song is great too. The second closest to where I like all of the song is the ones that I mentioned, End of the Beginning and then Damaged Soul. The overall problem I have with this album, as I was going to say, is that while Geezer and Tony sound great, and I can't remember if Bill or Appice's on this album, I think it's Bill. The drummer sounds great, but Ozzy doesn't sound all that wonderful. Unlike the first 6 albums and some of the stuff after that, even some stuff on Technical Ecstasy and Never Say Die, Ozzy doesn't seem to be singing with passion and with resonance. He seems to be going through the motions, even though that's not his intentions. I would say he just doesn't have the changes to me. He doesn't have that grit. He doesn't have that energy. There's the word. He doesn't have that energy. He doesn't have that shift from different emotions. Those shifts in his voice and in his phrasing and cadence is so important to it, making Ozzy so special as a vocalist. And it's not here. Vocally, he sounds almost the same on every song, and that's part of the problem. But Age of Reason is dynamite. And the song that I just think sucks to high heaven is Zeitgeist. I do not like the song whatsoever. It is truly the worst song on this album. It's very lackluster. It goes through the motions. It's not a laughable song or a joke. I get the attempt at what's trying to be accomplished, but I think it's a failure of a song. So there you have it. These are the best and worst songs in the Black Sabbath discography. Thanks for joining. See you next time. Bye now.